today we're going to be trying to cook Bolognese sauce to be eaten with spaghetti, short pasta, long pasta, whichever you prefer. For that I've got 500 grams, that's a pound of mince meat, nice and fresh from the butcher, an onion, clove of garlic and some fresh basil. There we go, lovely. And I've also got 3 tins of peeled plum tomatoes, nondescript brand, some wine and a little bit of passata from my sausage casserole from the other day. Okay, first of all, before we start, we're going to need to make our sauce, so the base for the sauce before it's cooked. The way we're going to do that is by blending and then sieving the peeled plum tomatoes. Alternatively, you can use passata. I wouldn't recommend the ready-made sauces, but I would say try and make your own whenever you can. Only takes a few minutes and just makes the sauce a lot tastier, trust me. Okay, so first and foremost we need to get the blender, pop the tomatoes inside the blender. Okay, try not to splash them all over yourself and the rest of your kitchen. It's never good. Tomato stains don't look particularly nice when you've got guests coming around. It's a typical Italian dish. I learned to cook it from my grandmother. I've added a few little variations of my own to it over the years. Okay, so I'm actually putting 2 tins of tomato into the blender because it can handle it. There we go. Try not to splash myself this time. Okay, we want to blend them quite fine because then they're going to have to go through the sieve. Okay, pop that on there. Right, ready? Also, we don't want to completely render them, make them completely liquid, because that's not ideal either, because then the sauce doesn't tend to thicken up too much. Okay, I was saying I've got some beef there for my sauce. However, unfortunately, what I would have liked to put in is also just a little slice of pork belly, which you can leave whole or you can chop up, however you prefer. The reason being is it gives the sauce a really nice flavour. However, unfortunately, my butcher didn't have any pork belly. They'd run out by the time I got there. So I'm just going to have to settle with the mince, which will be very tasty all the same. But pork belly gives that extra bit of sweetness. Now, some people aren't keen on eating it because of the fat on it. You can do is you can leave it whole and then just take it out at the end when it's cooked. Okay, so basically I've got 3 tins of tomatoes, which we're going to be doing this with. Once that's done, we want to put it all in the pan. Sorry, Okay, so I've pureed all 3 tins of tomatoes. I'm just sieving the last one through. What you'll find is that as you sieve them and give them a good shake, you'll find that the pips will gather at the bottom with sort of some concentrated tomato. You can push a lot of that through with your spoon if you just sort of rub it round the sieve with the wooden spoon once you've finished doing that. Okay, when we've done that, what we're going to do is we're going to add the basil to the tomato, we'll call it tomato sauce that we've just created. It's actually called, in Italian they will call it la salsa, or la salsa per il sugo, which basically means salsa for the sauce. There we go. So, as you can see, at the bottom of the sieve, we've got a few bits of tomato and seeds there. The thing that we're avoiding really is getting the seeds in, because the seeds tend to give a little bit of acidity to the sauce, and we don't want the sauce to be too acid. We want it to be nice and rich and sweet. So what we're going to do next is once we've rubbed that through and no more will go through, just quickly pop it into one of the empty tomato tins, scoop it out like that, and pop it in, and then just add a bit of water to that, which will help dilute the rest of the tomato that's stuck to the edge of those seeds. So we've got 3 tins worth of like seeds and tomato pulp in there. Just add a little bit of cold water, pour some wine, but do it with the cold water, then put it back into the sieve and just give it another quick passing through with the spoon. That should get rid of most of the rest of the tomato that's in there. Because we don't want to waste anything, do we? We want to try and get it all through. Oh, nice. Okay. This may seem a little bit laborious, but it's worth it in the end, trust me. Okay, so I don't know if you can see now, but that's the same seeds as before, and I've just fragmented into one little bit, so they're going to get thrown out. Okay, so next what we're going to do is pop the basil into that sauce. A bit of quick wash first. Stick it in like that. Okay. Stir that in. You don't want to put the basil in while you're frying the onions, because we're going to fry some onions in a minute, and you don't want to add the basil to that because it takes the flavour of it, whilst adding it to the sauce it boils slowly, cooks slowly inside the sauce. So the next job is to do the onions. Now most people will tell you that you chop the onions and you put them in the pan in the oil. That's all well and good. I do it my grandma's way. My grandma did it the old-fashioned way of grating the onions with a grater into the hot oil. This is mainly because my granddad didn't like the texture of onions, so this enabled the sauce to get a really nice flavour and texture from the grating of the onions. I cheat a bit. I don't grate it. I stick it through my little wet and dry blender. This is what I'm going to do now. I'll cut the onion up into small pieces. Just move this meat out of the way. Banging as the kids playing upstairs. One of them is kicking his football in his bedroom. She's been asked not to do, but as he says, there's nothing in there I can break. So I said, okay, it's up to you. So in the meantime, I'll get chopping this onion up. Right, as you can see, I'm crying now. I've chopped the onion up and put a little small clove of garlic in there into my little wet and dry grinder. I'm just going to pop it in. Quite a noisy process. Okay, so look at that, that's basically pureed my onion down to a nice little slush. What I'll do is now stick the pan on, get some nice extra virgin olive oil in the bottom of the pan. You can be quite generous with the oil, don't be too shy. Okay, a bit more. Right, so let the oil heat up nicely. In the meantime, get some salt and pepper out of the cupboard. So what we're going to be doing now is once the oil's heated up, we're going to add the onion and a bit of salt and pepper to the oil, and then let that fry for 30 seconds to a minute, and then just throw in the meat. We want to sort of mash the meat down with a spoon while it's cooking so that it separates, so you're not got big lumps of mincemeat all squished together in your sauce. Once that's browned a little bit and there's no more pink bits in the meat, what we're going to do is we're going to add the juice that we prepared earlier, so the salsa salsa for the sauce that we prepared earlier. Okay, so okay, you can smell and see when the oil starts to heat up. It becomes a lot more, moves around a lot easier in the pan. Okay, so once that's ready, we're going to add the onion and the garlic that we crushed earlier into that oil. Okay, so we start spreading that around into the oil, turning it. Oh, it's a shame that these camera things don't resonate smell, because that smells bloody gorgeous. I'm going to add a bit of salt to that. Right, so next we're going to add some salt and some pepper to the onions. That'll help the onions sweat down a little bit. Find the pepper. Where's that? This has some food. Zach, he's come in to get himself some food because he's starving. Yeah? Alright, so once the onions are ready, we're going to throw the meat in. We'll probably need to add more salt and pepper. Try not to drop the meat on the floor like I just did. So, okay, as I said, we're going to need to mash this down while we're cooking it so that it breaks up nicely. Okay. Zach, are you getting yourself some food? Okay, so as I was saying, we've added the mince, we're just stirring it in there into the onions. And the onions and the oil have sort of nearly made a sauce of their own already. Okay, going to add a little bit more salt. Not too much salt. Okay, add a little bit more pepper. Stirring this because, as I say, we want to brown all of the mincemeat together. Okay, so you need to keep stirring and keep stirring to make sure that you're not overcooking it in one place. Really, you want to just brown it all, get rid of all the pink out of it, all the red. And once you've done that, once it's spaced out the mincemeat to sealed, you just pour the sauce in, and then you just let it simmer, cook slowly, very slowly, for about 2 hours, so it's simmering nicely for about 2 hours. And it should be ready. If you had had the pork meat, what you would have done is basically just brown the pork meat before adding the mince, just a little bit. Okay, so I don't know if you can see that, but that meat's now looking a lot less pink and a lot more brown. it on a plate, drain it, rinse it, add a little bit of sauce to it, and a bit of cheese. Gives the pasta a nice colour, a nice texture with the cheese on it. Then once it's in the plate, you add cheese on top of the pasta, and then and then sauce on top of the cheese, and that finishes off your dish. Easy to make, nice and prepared in 30 minutes, ready to eat in about 2 hours. Enjoy your food, tune in next time.